Djibouti is one of those countries invented by man to satisfy his desires for adventure. To keep the mysterious flame alive in a geography that does not appear to be from this world. It's a country carved by fire and water, chiseled by the whims of the gods of hell. Djibouti is located where nobody can ignore it, in the indispensable corner of the Horn of Africa, right where the continent borders Arabia. It's a strategic location, the necessary passage to the Orient from the Suez Canal. In ancient times, it was the meeting point for Indian, Arab, and Greek sailors. Today, it is still a territory receptive to smugglers and go-getters.
Life in the desert is hard. When I traveled in the caravan, there was no time to rest. I live for the animals day and night. This is why I came to this city with my family. Here my children can study. I couldn't, but my children will have a different future. Don't think it was easy to leave the desert behind. Our move to the city was difficult, especially trying to find work. The only thing I knew how to do was work with the animals, which is what I do here. Later on, I got a more stable job on the sea, but then I could not stop coming to the beach at night. I do not earn a lot, and with this job, I earn a little more. I have always been attracted to the sea, even when I lived in the interior of the country. Our caravans ended up on the coast, and during the trip, I dreamed for this moment to arrive.
Ludbak was born and raised in the desert in the inland region of Djibouti. He is an Afar, one of the two main tribes that populate the country. His family's occupation was transporting salt between Lake Assab and the coast. About 10 years ago, he decided to abandon the nomadic life and migrate to the city of Djibouti. All he wanted was to find a job that would allow him to be in permanent contact with the sea, which is why he enlisted as an assistant on a passenger ship, which makes daily trips between the capital and the town of Abok, located at the other end of the Gulf of Tajura. In just a few years of contact with the sea, Ludbak became a pilot, and today he is the captain of a ship. These vessels are named dhows and are almost as old as the Gulf of Tajura. There are barely any left, the rest having been substituted by faster motorboats or modern ships with a larger cargo capacity. Nonetheless, most legal trade between Yemen and Djibouti, as well as passenger transportation between the different coastal towns, continues to be carried out on the dhows. Obok was the place where French colonization began in Djibouti. In 1862, the Sultan of Obok sold these lands to the French for 10,000 thalers, and a city began to be built that would soon have 2,000 inhabitants. But the location of Obok was not good for establishing a base, which was going to be an important trading center projecting towards the Kingdom of Ethiopia. It was completely surrounded by mountains, which made accessing the interior lands difficult. There was not enough drinkable water, nor a bay where it would be possible to build a port of such importance. Shortly thereafter, the French decided to locate the colonial capital where it currently stands today. From the short period when Obok was the French point of reference on the Horn of Africa, there are only a few decrepit buildings and the home of the poet Arthur Rimbaud still standing. Today, Obok is a sleepy coastal town that continues to live from fishing.
Although a lot of time has passed, I remember the years that I spent on the caravan as if it were yesterday. I still travel to the interior sometimes, for celebrations or when someone dies. I don't want my children to lose contact with my family. The salt caravan was the livelihood for everyone. Salt was our means of support.
In spite of the gradual abandonment of the nomadic life, the caravans that Lutbak refers to still exist. Lake Assal is the lowest point on the African continent and the third lowest in the world. It is located 153 meters below the sea, whose proximity is evident from any one of the volcanoes that surround it. In fact, at some point in time, it was connected to this sea, and some believe that it still is through underground channels. The high level of evaporation, 330 grams per liter, causes the water to be saturated with salt and broad expanses of terrain to be fabulous salt mines, which the nomads have used to trade with since time immemorial.
I agree that things are not going well, that the economy is slow, but I would not stop coming to the beach even if my day job allowed me to. I like to wait and not know what will happen, if Ibrahim will come tonight or if he won't. I have always lived on the sea, and this is the only way that I know how to feel good. For me, my job is what I do during the day. This is something that keeps me alive.
Amin was born in the city of Jibuti, and his daily job consists of taking the khat to Tajura every day when it comes in from Ethiopia by plane.